What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. I am streaming to you live from my bedroom in Hollywood Hills, Los Angeles, California. And I got my little SGC family hoodie on. If you guys didn't see this before, got high ticket coaching on the back. So we sent one of these hoodies to every single one of our clients from all around the world. That's over 100 hoodies sent out. And I don't know if you guys see my Instagram story. I share sometimes when our clients are taking selfies and posting it on. So super excited today. We decided to do the show a little bit later on my Eastern friends around 8 p.m., PST friends 5 p.m. Super excited to go over the questions we have today. So if you're tuning in right now inside of Facebook and you're new to this group in this community, welcome to the Facebook, the High Ticket Coaching Community Facebook group. Super excited to have you. Make sure you watch the welcome video and the lead magnet, download that, go through it. It's an old PDF now, but it shows you how I went from 0 to 200 grand a month. Since then, we've scaled up to almost 700,000 in a month with our coaching business, which is super cool. And I share all my strategies and structures and the bird's eye view and the models of what we did to get there. So if you guys have any questions, you could always comment down below inside the Facebook group, and I'll be on it right here, and I'll answer them. And if you're tuning in from YouTube, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell. If you like content on how to scale your coaching business, how to overcome the mindset, become a high performer, develop the marketing and sales strategies of a 7-figure coaching business, we rock and roll, baby. We drop videos every week in this channel to help you scale your business. So if you want to join me live every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, or today is 5 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern time, every Monday of the week, then you can join our Facebook group, which is highticketcoachingcommunity.com. Now, if you want your questions answered on the show, all you got to do is go to askarmin.com and submit a quick question, and we put it in a sheet, and I'm sent it to it by my team so I can answer the questions for you guys. And if you come on live like you are right now on Facebook, then I could also answer your questions live. So if you have any questions, you can drop it in the comment section, and I will be able to answer them for you. So, and I'm just going to pull my questions of everybody who asked me questions today for today's show and bring it up real quick. Super excited. Got some really good questions here. And by the way, I don't review these in advance. I'd like to read them on the spot, so I give you my natural reaction. So here's how this works, guys. The big question is, okay, how do coaches like me and my team of coaches, how do we go in the beginning, we had nothing and risked everything on the line to build a business around helping other people? How do we go out there and get our message across to the marketplace, land clients consistently, and scale that, all while making a huge difference in profit, making a huge profit in our business as well in the world? That's the question. This show will give you the answer. And we've been doing this live now for almost 2 years. Coming up to January will be the 2-year mark of when I started this show. And it's evolved and changed ever since in so many different ways. So just excited to see where this is all going. Awesome, Maria from Slovenia. We got her tuning in. So let's hop into the first question. It's going to be a shorter show today. So I'm just going to be value bombs, and then we're going to move on from there. So the first question we have here is, I realize I'm scared to scale. I'm not sure myself or my team can handle the growth if we were to even double our current numbers. How can I prepare myself and my team the right way? That's from Mary R. So here's how this works. When you're talking about scale, it depends on where you're at, right? Like when you're, first of all, scaling from 0 to 10 grand is not scale. That's launch. Going from 10 to 30 grand still to me isn't scaling. But there is this element of scale in there, which is just learning how to pretty much, honestly, it's not even up to 30 grand. You're not really scaling. What you're doing is you're still refining your sales process. When you get from 30 to 100 grand, we're talking about scale. Scale is about, generating, pretty much scales this. Let me explain to you the phase of any business model in the world. There's the ideation phase, which in the coaching world we call beta. In the corporate world, they call they also call it beta when you create a beta product. But the ideation phase is when you're just creating your offer and your strategy and what you sell and just how you're going to attack the market. Then there is the phase of launch. Launch is like acquiring the first paying customers, testing things out, getting feedback, refining the product. So in like a SaaS world and software world, that's creating the MVP, the minimum viable product. You get a bunch of people to use it, you get their feedback, they pay a little bit, And so you're building out the actual product and the offer and everything. So you refine. So this is the creation of the game plan. This is the execution of the game plan. In the coaching world, that's running a beta coaching program and then getting clients' feedback and all that. The third phase is where you scale. So the bird's eye view of any business in the world is create the idea, launch the idea and test it. And then once it's tested and proven, scale it. So by default, let me tell you something. With the coaching business, going from 0 to 10 is where you're creating the idea. Because if you can't even get people to want to, bite on the bait of an offer you're creating or thinking about, like even interested wise, like, does anyone even care about this? Then you have no offer. So the first 10 grand you make technically is going to be all about like seeing if people are even interested. And so that means just even anyone willing to pay anything or even show you any interest. The launch is going to be when you do your first beta program. So the first is free coaching. The launch is going to be like beta, the beta program, working with people on for like $2,500, $5,000 maybe tops. And that's in beta. Okay. And that's how you go from 10 to 30 grand. So it's just, you're kind of refining things. So as long as you're really good at selling and you have a minimum amount of book calls to work with prospects, you can get to 10 to 30 grand if you sell at a 5K price or 5K price or higher. So it's only at 30 plus do we look at scale, because what scale means is that you've built the foundations of the business. It means you built, everything is ready to go. And all you got to do now is add fuel to the fire. That's what scale means. Scale doesn't mean creation of foundation or business or product or launch. It means scaling something that's built. You get what I'm saying? It's like, it's the same thing as like, you don't drive the car past 100 miles an hour until you know it's built. Like, you don't try to drive it on the highway. You first drive it around the road and test it out. First, you're building the engine out. That's ideation, beta, and scale. So when someone asks me, I'm really afraid to scale. Well, first you got to know, what does it mean? Because there is no such thing as scale from 10 to 30. Now, if you're going from 30 to 100 grand, it's just about really getting more book calls on calendar. So trying new organic strategies and trying new ad strategies, like anything. We give a lot of crazy stuff in our program that brings in like 20, 30, 40 calls in a week, right? And then 100 to 250,000 or 100 and beyond, it's all about fulfillment. It's all about automation. It's about team development. And so that's what scale, to me, scale is like when you start to look at, like, I have too many clients. Now what do I do? That's when you start really to scale, because scale is how do you take what you built successfully and do it 10 times larger, not how do you build the thing. So you, by default, what I'm trying to say is if you're building something still in your business, it's not scale mode yet. Okay. So that's that. Now, the question is, how do you properly prepare? It's very simple. So you have to look at your structure of your offer in the program you're selling as a coach. And you got to make sure it can handle the amount of clients you're looking to get. So most people would just keep going and like only think one step ahead and go one step and think one step ahead. This person will go very slow. If you want to actually build, like if you're in this for 5 years or longer in this business model, it's not just like a 1 year thing or whatever. Like for me, it's a forever thing. I want to coach forever. So what I do is I go, how can I, earn $10 million a year, and what's the leanest business model? And so recently I'm like, well, I want to do a 200 person mastermind membership program where it's like the most elite level of coaching and the highest level of, premium quality, the Rolls Royce of coaching programs at 50 grand a year. And I'm like, to me, I want 200 people paying 50 grand and renewing because it's so good. They make millions from being there that they'll keep renewing regardless. That's $10 million a year business. Some people say, I want to have, $10,000, $1,000 customers in my course. That's not a coaching business, but I'm just saying. Some people are like, I want 1,000 people at 10 grand. And that's the kind of massive legacy I want to build. 1,000 clients working with me and my team. We have like 10 coaches working with us. You got to decide what your vision is for your business. Imagine no matter what you did, you didn't fail, you succeeded. And then the question is, well, what do you want it all to look like? So let me make sure the comments are open. So everyone, if you have questions, you can make sure you put it here. And by the way, if you're tuning in right now, let me know from where in the world you're tuning in. Slovenia, Cheese City, awesome. Does that make sense so far? So imagine no matter what you put your mind to, it worked. How do you want your business to look? Not about personal preference, not like I want to be able to travel and build. Imagine you could do all those things. What do you want your business to look like making whatever your goal is? 360 grand a year, 30 grand a month, $1 million a year, 100 grand a month, right? So the question now becomes, when you do the numbers, like you have to do some math. If you are the only coach or you have coaches, you got to start doing the math. Okay. Well, how many client calls do we have? How many one-on-ones do we do? Or how many whatever you do? Multiply that by the number of clients you want to reach in your business. Then try to actually divide it between people and things and try to calculate the workload the best you can. So for us, we have 5 weekly coaching calls. We also have unlimited access one-on-one coaching to all my coaches on my team in my core program, SGC. And so I can calculate how many coaching sessions are done every week, how many hours are spent, and I can comfortably know the amount of people we can handle in that offer before it starts breaking or my team starts to burn out. Okay. And so that's how you develop that's how you create you figure out the capacity of your program structure. Now, the cool thing is when you start scaling, the question was here, well, if I start scaling, what's up, Northern Ireland? I love that. Well, welcome, Namita. So the question is, if we doubled our current numbers, how can we prepare myself for a team right away? You have to change the structure of your coaching program. That's the only way to do it. Maybe not double, maybe triple, quadruple your numbers. Then you have to think about it. So, for example, at first, believe it or not, first time I sold my program, my core program, it was at $5,000. It's more than that now. It's $5,000 lifetime access to coaching. As long as I'm doing coaching, you guys can get on calls. I was doing 3 calls a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, myself. And I had no coaches working for me. And I would do an initial one-on-one coaching session, private coaching session to kind of launch the person's business with them. And then they would go into weekly calls. I sold up to 30 clients that way. So like 150 grand worth of clients where I was doing one-on-ones. I was doing my own one-on-ones. And this is over a course of period of time, like months. Because at the time I was just doing ad strategies with funnels and it was slow. And so when I did organics, when I started doing like 200, 300 grand a month, it was crazy. But with that, like we did that over like 3-4 month period or 5-month period. And I started to reach a point where I'm like, I can't keep doing one-on-ones every time someone signs up, because at this point, every week I have 3 to 4 people signing up. And between me doing marketing, between me doing sales calls, and between me taking one-on-one coaching calls and doing the weekly calls, I had no time left. So the moment I reached my ceiling, I'm like, well, I can't scale with this model. So what I do, take the one-on-one away. Right? Does that make sense? As the moment we start scaling to like 70, 80 clients, and we needed more one-on-ones, my team started to step in. Well, I have a team of coaches that have trained over the last year and a half that can also help you guys. So then we started to do that. So I scaled back and my team stepped in, and my team started to work with people in every part of the business that I trained them for. So the team that I trained to help grow my company with, they were now accessible to my clients. So that's, again, change the program structure. So now I can handle more clients, me just doing group calls. So I'm leveraging my time and I'm doing all high level strategy stuff, and my team stepping in for the execution with each client. Then we reached a point where we're like, now I'm reaching this point. We got over 100 clients like this, and we have 90-day clients, and they invest a good amount of money. They make a lot of money. People come in and do 50 to 100 grand sometimes their first month. Other people, they take the first month just to build foundation. Depends on where you're at. Why am I telling you this? Now we're reaching at a new ceiling of level of height, a new bottleneck. We're like, well, we give one-on-one access to like 4 different coaches on my team for organic marketing, sales role plays. What else we got? Facebook group engagement, tech and ads, momentum and operations, right? Okay. But now I'm like, I can't keep doing that. So this next month coming up, whoever joins the program before like November 15th or November 15th, they get all this stuff now. But still moving forward, past November 15th, I'm scaling back to one-on-one. Now the clients who paid by November 15th, they're going to get it. But all my new clients that are going to come into my new offer structure, they're going to get a different program. It's going to be more scalable. Why? Because we're leveraging more time. It's going to be one kickoff call. So people come in and they do a one-on-one battle planning session with my team. They craft their whole game plan for 90 days, how to get to 100 grand. And 100 grand a month or 100 grand in total sales, depending on where you're at. And now they just have to come on group calls. There is no one-on-one. But we'll have like a one-on-one support ticket where people can email us, and we'll have like someone on my team look at it and like every day, like check who they should go to, and like if they can help them out. If they can, they invite them to a group call to fix it. But there's no more one-on-ones, because the one-on-ones, they're very valuable. But when you go past 200-300 clients, it's crazy because people are charging my prices in my industry, and they don't give half the support we give. And they're still scaling well. And they're 2-3 times the size of my program. They charge a little bit less, but they also don't do one-on-ones weekly with all their coaches. They also only have like 2 calls a week in their groups. I have 5 coaching calls, 4 coaches on call, like one-on-ones to do stuff with. My point is we over-deliver, but there's a point where we reach where we're like, we can't handle more. So it's either we stop growing, right? I could be like, I could close off enrollment in my program and just let everyone in my program renew to work with us over and over. And that's my business model. That could be one. Or I say, well, we got to scale back how much how much access we can give to us and leverage things more so we can scale. So that's the question. That's how you prepare properly for scale. You have to calculate the capacity you can handle the way you're doing it, and then see on what the goal is and see how you can handle that goal with a new structure of a program. That way, if you change the program and you raise the prices, right, then technically, here's another thing. If you want to make more money, you could just double your prices, same structure, and now you're making twice the amount, double the numbers, without twice the workload. But just getting better at closing higher. And if that's your problem, you can come to us, because me and my team were experts in training sales teams and how to double their close rate, how to have a higher cash collected. That's what we specialize in. But it's not this. If you want to keep it at that price point but have twice the clients, you have to change the structure of the program to make it manageable. So that's how you do it. You look at the program structure, nothing else. Offer structure vital. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Hope that answered your question, Mary. Next one. I'm really working hard to hit my first 6-figure month, but each time I fall short, is there a way I can ensure I cross it this month? Well, yeah, hire somebody. Like join a program or a coach, hire a coach that does way more than 100 grand a month. And in one session, in like one call, they'll probably see all the things you're doing wrong that's causing you not to. I'll give an example. I had a client, Paul. He joined my program. He was at like 25 grand his first month in. And he's like, I only had 100 grand. He's like, but all this time, just joined your program this month. And he's like, I already went from closing 10 to like 22, 25 grand. And he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'm trying to sell it, whatever, and it's not working. And so I got on a call. I'm like, dude, invest in my elite and work with me one-on-one. One session, I'll fix it. And so he's like, all right. It was a hard decision for him. It was a lot of money. Elite's way more than my core program. And he pretty much emptied his account. He had like $30 left in his account, he said. And it's crazy because that same person, he's 19. He's become our greatest success story in the program. He's made 300 grand in 60 days. Now, it's not typical. Those results aren't typical. He had his old program set up. He was very confident in his offer. His offer is very sexy. So all we had to do is reorder the ingredients in the business he already had that's made for winning and just put it in a way where it can scale. And so his first month in, he did like 70,000. And his second month, he did 180,000, something like that. Or he did 70 something. Second month, he did, he did like 100 and like crazy something. I hit 300 grand. Now he's in his third month and he's hitting 140,000 now. So it's pretty insane. And all I did with him with this one session I did with him is I looked at everything. I go, this is what you're doing wrong. Change your price to this. Here's what I want you to focus on. And that's it. And he went out and like literally tripled the sales. The next month, 6x the sales. So the fastest way to, fix it and ensure you're going to cross 6 figures is to hire a person who not only specializes in that, but also has done it himself. So you can help. So obviously I'm, shameless plug. If you work with me, if you're serious about getting to over 6 figures in a month, like, why are we talking about costs? Like you should not be, if you're afraid of investing and you're thinking about 6 figures in a month, which means you should be making 5 figures in a month. And you're not talking about like taking all that money, putting it back in coaching and your business. Like you're not serious. Okay. I just dropped $190,000 into coaching this past 30 days. Paid 100 grand alone to work with someone for one day, guys. Like, I would do that if I had the money. No, you wouldn't. Because if you are making 50 grand a month and you're not willing to put another 20 or 30 in your business, then you won't put, or even 10, like just investing again to work, more expertise. You won't do it at $1 million. Okay. It's an attitude. Your affordability and having the budget to invest into your business is an attitude. It's not a circumstance. That was deep. I was a writer downer. But that's how it is. I always had the attitude of putting all my money back in myself and my business. And so now I'm projected to hit $1 million next month. And that's because I also dropped 190 grand in coaching into people that are the best in the world at what they do. And that's my philosophy. Some people are like, figure it out. You can read it in a book. You can watch a YouTube video. I'm sure you could, by the way. I'm pretty sure you could, like if you're smart enough, just get yourself to do it. Sure. I'm with you. I just think 95% of the world don't. So the 5% that are like, or I could just give my money that I made from what I know is working to someone to shortcut. That's how I am. I'm like, every time I get ahead, because I learned from someone, I'm going to take a bigger piece of my money that I made, give it to someone bigger than that person to learn again from someone. So it works, so anyways, that's really how you can ensure crossing the month. Like hire a person who's doing it. Only the second way is like, you need someone to look at it and see what your gaps are. If you're already at 5 figures a month and you can't hit 100, it's literally just fundamentals. It's logistical. Like you don't know if it's your operations, your marketing, or your sales. And so when someone who's making more than a couple $100 grand a month, way more, can look at your business in like one session, they'll know what you're doing wrong. But it takes an analysis. There's no cookie cutter answer to that. Like there's not. I'll give you some quick answers. I mean, like charge more, charge more because then it takes less clients to hit it. Make your program time sensitive. Don't give lifetime and stuff. Like do 60 or 90-day programs so people renew. Because then when you have a big sales month and you have a big renewal month, you can hit 100 grand. Here's another quick answer for you. Actually sell an elite offer that's like 30 grand or more to your existing clients that have paid 5 or 10 grand to you. There's easily hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in every group that every paid program that I see. They just don't know how to use it. The funny thing is, I challenge anyone in this group who's watching this. If you have a program and you have at least 15 to 20 clients in your core offer, which is anywhere from 3 to 10 grand, and you want to hit 100 grand, I promise you in one session, I could do it. In one session. All I got to do is show you how to build a 25K or more elite offer and how to sell to your current existing clients. And you'll hit 100 grand. It's only 4 clients. So you can take me up on that offer. But if you do it, like we got to talk, you got to join the league. So to me, I'm like, I'll make the money for you to join. But I know if there's a person who has a program, it's already selling, and they have 15 to 20 clients minimum, high ticket clients in the program, and they want to hit 100 grand or 200 grand a month and just hit a huge month, it's as simple as knowing how to launch an elite offer to your existing clients. That's it. That's all it is. That's how I hit my 200K a month. I was consistently hitting 50 to 100K. And then one day I'm just like, I'm going to make this work. And boom, the idea just hit me in my head. I was meditating on it. And I'm like, why don't I sell a one-on-one offer where it's like super high level ticket? I'm like, maybe there's some people that want to work closer with me in the program, but they don't get a chance because all my things are group calls. That's what happened. $150,000 worth $25,000 clients I closed in 5 days. 5 days. All I did was do a quick launch, and I created that systematic approach to launching the elite to my current existing clients, and I gave it to my elite clients. I'm like, here, do this. And they literally go and have $100,000 months just from elite clients. So as mentioned, to that, any comments so far? Let me check. All right, good. If you guys are loving this, by the way, drop some fire emojis in the chat so I know you're loving this. All right, next question. What is the first step every beginner coach should take when it comes to building their coaching business from scratch? Nicole, the goal is, first of all, you just got to choose. You got to create your offer. Your offer is who, what, how. Who are you helping? What are you helping them do? And how are you helping them do it? The how doesn't matter for marketing and sales. You can figure out the method later. You just got to know what's your method. Like if I'm a transformation coach, what's my method or modality that I use to help people? But the who and the what are pretty much your offer. Like who's your niche? Like who's the person you help? What industry? Or what gender? Like what is the person psychologically? Who's the person? Are they in this and want that? And then what problem do you solve? Not what goals they have. What problem do you solve for them? That's the first step. Now, if you don't know how to figure that out, free coaching. So usually most coaches that are starting out have some form of an idea of a how that they want to become an expert in, like this method. I want to be a digital marketing expert. I want to be a NLP coach. I want to be a dating approach coach. Like it's like they have a method that they're interested in teaching, but they don't know who to teach it to or what problem to solve for that person. So the fastest way to, the first step foundationally, is to go out to your friends and family, to your warm network on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, just your people who know you, and offer free coaching, free one-on-ones with anyone that's interested in the offer. Now, if no one's going to book a one-on-one with you for free to learn something about this method or this problem you're solving, then it's not a good offer because no one even for free cares. So try something else until you find there is an offer. There is a post you make about how I'm offering free 5 one-on-one sessions for free on how to do this thing or how to solve this problem, and you get a massive engagement reaction from that. That's the offer you should work with. Then book a bunch of one-on-ones, coach people for free, get results, get some testimonials, then go back to those people and offer them a beta program for like $2,500 one-on-one with you over 3 months. Or take everything you learn from and the results you got from those free clients and publicly launch that you have a beta offer going now and get a bunch of people in to book a call with you to work with you. Very simple. That's how you do it. You make sure you get validated interest in an offer. Choose, first of all, make up your mind with what you generally want to do. Who, what, how. Then go out and validate interest. Do people care enough to even do one-on-one work with me for free? If yes, then are they willing to pay me to work with them over 9 days to achieve this result in a bigger way, or get a one-on-one accountability? If yes, then create a high ticket program off it, start selling group, then go to creating a course and weekly calls, and that's your business. Where else? What do you think is the number one needle mover in coaching business? What do you think a 10K a month coach should focus on the most? Paul. Better not be my Paul. My Paul's doing like 150 grand a month. Um, Namita, oh my God, damn, so much good stuff here. Thank you, Armin Chef. You need to watch this again for sure, Namita. Thanks for hopping in. All right. Number one needle mover, coaching business. Wow, that's a good question. Based on for like what? Like for sales, for scale? I mean, for sales, I guess. Number one needle mover for coaching business. Like someone's making 10 grand a month. What's the number one thing to focus on? Hmm. Well, the real needle mover is your offer, like creating a sexy ass offer. So even if you can get to 10 or 20 or even 30K with the offer you have, maybe to get to $500,000 a month, you have to completely radically change the offer. Not change, but like upgrade or change your approach. Here's a bigger problem to solve. I would say it's that. But in the business, the biggest needle mover is your ability to close. So really mastering your sales skills. I'll tell you why. I have a client in Elite. His name is Isa, and he has an offer. He's alone. He just hired his first setter, and he's made with us $500,000 in 90 days. He's made more than that in 4 months, but the last 90 alone, he made $500,000. He's been with us for 4 months now. I think he's in his fourth month now, actually. And so before this month, the last 3 months prior to that, $500,000. He did all that by himself, just using those strategies. He just hired a setter this month. And so what I mean by that is all he did was focus on organic marketing, booked a few calls, and he didn't even book a lot of calls. He booked like maybe 100 calls over 3 months, but he closed 30 of them on a $15,000 to $20,000 offer. So now the question becomes, so is really booking more calls the needle mover? It's not. It's honestly not. I'm telling you right now. Like I know people that book all 200 calls, 300 calls a month and make less than what Isa did. So booking more calls on a needle mover. It's not. So it's not marketing. Very minimal marketing, just getting you even 5 or 10 calls a week is enough. But your sales abilities is the needle mover. Why? Because if I can get 10 calls and close 2 of them or 3 of them on a $15,000 to $25,000 offer, which is all predicated on my ability to close, like my sales ability, not my marketing, not my offer, my sales ability, my confidence, my certainty in myself, that's 75 grand right there. That's 45 to 75 grand, right? Or 45 to 60 grand. There's three sales. So when you raise your prices, the only thing that stops you from going from 5 to charging 10 or to 15 or 20 grand for one client is knowing how to close. That's the only bottleneck. It's not like a different sales process. It's not like maybe your offer has to be better, maybe if you have to change your offer for sure. But if you know it's good, most people are underpricing their high ticket offers. Most people. So if I look at your offer, I'm like, you could be selling this at 15 grand. You could be selling this at 20 grand a client, but you don't know how, do you? Because your sales skills lack. It's not your booking call sales. Here's the thing. If you have a close rate of 10 or 15%, right, at 5 grand, then you got to book 100 calls. Do 100 calls with your show up rate. At 15 clients at 5 grand to make $75,000. I could book 10 calls and close 3 at 25 grand. See what I'm saying? So the needle mover in your business is getting really good at selling, because that also impacts how well you are at marketing. Because when you make videos or write, you're really good at the psychology behind sales and closing to know how to say things that make people want to buy from you. And second, you could charge much higher than your competitors and actually close because you're really good. So Isa only booked like 100 plus calls, not even. And he closed 30 clients at 15 grand. He raised his price to 18 grand now. In 90 days, made $500,000. And he had no team. He funneled people into a 6-month coaching program with a course, and he does, I think, 2 or 3 calls a week, group calls. That's it. So he made a lot of money in a very lean way. I was looking at him like, dude, your numbers are great, man. Like, let's build your team now. You can get to $1 million a month as long as you're willing to put in the work. My point to you is the needle mover for him. Look, he made $500,000 in 90 days. That's a $2 million business per quarter. If you do that per quarter, that's a $2 million business. Most people think booking more calls is going to get them to 2 million. No, man. If you could raise your prices and be better at closing on that price, that can exponentially triple your business. It has nothing to do with booking more calls. More calls booked at a lower skill rate of sales skill rate and a lower ticket price, it just makes your job harder. That was a really good question, by the way. So big kudos to you who posted that. Really good question. I want to make sure my audio is coming in nice. Number one needle mover. Oh, really good. God damn, Zoom, you got some good audio quality now. So, first of all, if you're watching this on YouTube and you love this content, make sure you subscribe because we drop stuff like this every week. And if you want to join our Facebook group, howtogetcoaching.community.com. If you're in the Facebook group, invite your friends that are coaches into this group. If you think it's some good stuff, like we want to get them the help they need, get them in this program in this group. I mean, this is kind of like a program. Every week we go live. Like you guys getting a whole coaching call with me, and that's what clients pay me to get as well. So that's a really good question. Answer is sales. That's a big needle mover. Charging more, getting better at closing more, and collecting more cash on the call. Because I know some people that charge $50,000, make $50,000 in sales, and collect 20 grand of it. That's not a business. Like you're scraping by. Okay, so you got to get it's all in your sales ability. If you can close and collect cash and close at a higher rate, your company will explode. Then imagine you just add twice the amount of calls. You make so much money quickly. Okay. Last question is, I've been trying to build my coaching business for over 5 years and still haven't hit a 5-figure month. I don't want to invest in a coach because I cannot afford one. What do I do? Tamara, that's big, huge. 5 years is a long time. A lot of things you should contemplate about your approach, about yourself, about what you're trying to build. If you've been trying to build the same offer, business, or niche, you lack the ability to change your approach clearly. Because if you've gone 5 years trying to do the same thing, then you didn't get the hint. Like failure is data, and you didn't use that data to create a different approach until you found the winning strategy. I'm going to be honest and candid with you. But a 5-figure month is just 10 grand, 10 to 100 grand, right? 10 to 99 grand, right? Everything I just said previous to this question is your answer, right? Getting better at selling. Maybe you never invested into getting better at selling. And make sure the offer you choose to sell is already being sold by someone successfully. You guys want a quick hack to building $1 million business? Find $1 million business in your niche. Find a person already making $1 million more, selling something similar to you, and model what they're doing. The moment you model what they're doing, you're going to get a lot of results. Then you can change it up later on. So, and your ability to not afford a coach is a problem in and of itself that if you cannot fix, then there is a very slim chance that you'll know how to fix problems in your business. So if you can't find some money, and maybe you're quitting, you've already invested into a program. I have people that have invested 50 grand or more into coaches prior to joining my program, and they've been at it for years. Then they come into my program and they make money, they grow. So they persisted. I can't promise that every coach you put your money into is going to work out, because maybe you're the problem. You never know. Maybe they're the problem. But I just know that the one to persist and never have an option to quit or just bold and say, I can't do this anymore, I can't afford it anymore, those people never make it anywhere. So you need an attitude reset. You need a mindset attitude reset, because, getting to a place where you're like, I don't want to invest in a coach because I cannot afford one is like, it's hypocritical. I just want you to understand something. How can you close people on paying you for coaching when you're in a mental state of saying, I don't have money and don't want to invest in a coach? Like that means you're unwilling to become resourceful. So why would people become resourceful to pay you? There's a hypocrisy there, right? I remember I was at a seminar this past month. And the person on stage said something very interesting. He goes, entropy. Look, I looked up entropy. I'm going to look it up right now. It's actually brilliant the way he explained it. It's a scientific law, entropy. I never knew this. He goes, where is it? Let me see. Entropy. Well, the way he explained it was better. This is a scientific law. Oh, I think he took the scientific law of entropy, or it's a natural law. And he explained it in a business world and pretty much told me, he pretty much said in the room, he goes, entropy is that nothing can produce anything that's not like itself. So everything produces is of its own kind. That's entropy. Meaning, if you're a coach that doesn't have a coach, it's never going to work. So you cannot be a coach that doesn't have a coach, because you can only produce something that you are. And if you're a person that doesn't have coaches, you're going to never produce someone who has coaches. Entropy is just about integrity and alignment with, being the thing you want to seek. You know what I'm saying? So entropy is a fascinating concept. He said, I remember writing it down in my notebook and I lost that notebook. And when I Googled the definition, the scientific definition doesn't make any sense. But the way he said it was like, I'm like, man, that's so smart. There's a whole scientific law. There's a natural law behind proving why you need coaching. I think he said something like entropy also is the law of understanding that whenever you're in your own problems, you can never figure it out, because there's a law that physically blinds your brain to things that it's like blind spots. You cannot figure your own stuff out. That's why coaching is a necessary thing, not an optional thing. It literally, you cannot do things without help of someone else on the outside. And so he goes, when you're a coach, he's a guy who's made millions and millions and millions of dollars. He goes, I would never hire a coach that doesn't have a coach. It's hypocritical, and it's contradictory contradictory to the law of entropy. I'm like, I mean, you can't argue with that. It's law. So my point to you is you need to get yourself out of hypocrisy, because your brain, your mind is being impressed, is getting the impressions of entropy, like that lack of entropy. You're like, I don't want to pay for the thing I'm charging for. No. Would you ever eat at a person's restaurant if they don't eat their own food? You're a really good example, eh? Would you? Would you take medicine from a doctor that wouldn't take the medicine he's giving you? Good example, isn't it? Just saying. Would you take marriage advice from a single person? Would you take fitness advice from an overweight one? That's what I'm trying to say. So why would you expect someone to pay a coach that doesn't get their own coaching? It just doesn't make sense. So for the sake of the impressions you're making on your mind, you got to find a way to get coaches good. Even if it's not like they're going to help you with the business, like just being in the state of a student to a coach again is what's going to break you through. Hopefully that helped, guys, and I'm glad you tuned in. Today's a short episode. Hopefully this was valuable. And if it was, drop a fire emoji in the chat. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for tuning back into Clear Talk, the #1 show for coaches that want to scale their business and make a different impact, a big impact and a difference. And if you haven't joined us in the Facebook group, make sure you go to highticketcoachingcommunity.com. We go live every Monday inside this group, 12 p.m. Eastern time, or usually some other times like today. And we're bringing the fire on every single week with you. Got some really cool stuff excited to share with you guys in the upcoming month in November of 2021. And you're going to see it if you follow me online. So love you guys. I'll see you next week. Make the rest of your week the best of your week.